seen a ferocious surge of anti-Semitism in America and around the world. Vicious propaganda on social media.
President Biden addressed the nation today, condemning what he described as an increase in anti-Semitism, not only in this country, but worldwide, all in the wake of the ongoing protests against the war in the Middle East. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. I'm Drew Carney. The president delivered those remarks at a Holocaust remembrance event earlier this morning. During that speech, President Biden condemned college campus protests that have turned violent. He said he still encourages peaceful protesting, but there is no place on any campus for anti-Semitism. The president also drew parallels between the Holocaust and Hamas's October 7th attack against Israel.
We have an obligation. We have an obligation to learn the lessons of history so we don't surrender our future to the horrors of the past. We must give hate no safe harbor against anyone.
President Biden also reaffirmed that his support for Israel is ironclad, even though he's criticized Israel for not doing enough to protect civilians as the country continues its military operations in Gaza. Meanwhile, demonstrations and arrests continue on college campuses across the country. Just yesterday, two major universities, Columbia in New York and Emory in Georgia, announced changes to their graduation ceremonies because of security concerns. It's also been an eventful day today at the University of Chicago. NBC's Maggie Vespa brings us more from that campus.
We're standing where the encampment at the University of Chicago was for more than a week. That is until early this morning when students say police swooped in around 4:30 and cleared the whole thing out. You can see they are back, having gathered around that building back there. They're chanting, they're banging drums. And again, this is the pro-Palestinian protest that's been on campus for more than a week now. Students tell us no arrests and no injuries were reported this morning. The university confirming the same. Students tell us, though, they have been threatened with criminal trespassing charges, and the university is also threatening to place them on interim emergency leave of absence if they return to and or rebuild this camp. At this point, NBC News is tracking close to 75 campus protests across the country and more than 2,500 arrests at those protests. Maggie Vespa, NBC News, Chicago.
And also, I should say, making national headlines today, former adult film star Stormy Daniels began her testimony this morning in New York in the hush money trial of former President Donald Trump. The former president's lawyers, meanwhile, called for a mistrial based on Daniels' remarks today, but the judge already denied that request. Daniels is a central figure in this case that concerns a $130,000 payment made to her by Trump's former attorney Michael Cohen. The payment was allegedly made to keep an affair with the former president quiet. During today's testimony, Daniels was graphic at times, outlining encounters she says she had with the former president. But he denies any encounter happened with the adult actress. Former President Trump is charged with falsifying business records in an effort to cover up those alleged hush money payments. So far, he's pleaded not guilty to all charges. All right, let's take a look at some of this afternoon's local headlines, starting with Portland police, who say they arrested a man who is suspected of sexually assaulting 3 homeless women. This is a picture of Zachary Andrews, who police say also goes by the name Cadillac. He's accused of performing multiple unlawful sex acts, including rape, on at least 3 homeless women between October of 2021 and October of 2022. Police are sharing his picture because they believe he has other victims and are asking anyone with information to contact them. Early last night, police shot and killed a man in southeast Portland after officers say the man first fired shots at them. It happened as police were trying to serve a search warrant at a home on southeast 124th, just off Burnside. Police tell us they immediately began life-saving measures after the suspect was shot, but he still died at the scene. Police say they also recovered a gun near his body. No officers were hurt, but the 4 directly involved in the shooting are now on paid leave. Last headline here before we take a look at today's forecast. Today is Fentanyl Awareness Day, so Multnomah County is using this as an opportunity to launch a new awareness campaign. The new campaign's theme is Expect Fentanyl, and it's aimed at 13 to 20-year-olds. The goal is to educate and spread awareness about the dangers of the drug using media that age group sees every day. It also aims to combat misinformation about fentanyl, particularly in schools. And that's a look at some of today's local headlines. All right, we promised you a quick look at the forecast. We'll start that with a break from the headlines and a look outside. Man, this looks like somebody painted this picture, Chris McGinnis. That is our live look from the Dalles this afternoon. Chris McGinnis, meanwhile, is live in the Weather Center. It's actually shaping up to be a really nice day around the area.
East end of the gorge for sure, right? It's beautiful there, and we're starting to see even more sun breaks at the coast as well. This is the live look from Cannon Beach. Off in the distance, we still have some clouds and showers kind of working their way up and over the coastal headlands. Meanwhile, up in the Cascades, Mount Hood, Timberline rocking 156 or 154 inch base right now. There's 12.5 feet of snow, coming up on 13 feet of snow at Timberline right now. That's unbelievable. The flurries are still flying there. That will be the last of the snow this week up on the mountain. All right, here's a live look from our Rose City sky camera. We have blue sky over downtown, but you also see some billowing cumulus clouds on the horizon, and those are a sign of some more showers beginning to pop up here across Washington, portions of Multnomah County, Clark County. We'll zoom in on radar right now. Got a pretty good cell about ready to work its way over St. Helens, so be on the lookout for that. Another one working its way, about ready to work its way into North Portland. Salmon Creek, you're getting a little bit wet, and another line of some showers, I should say, down towards Oregon City and West Linn. Here's the cloud cover picture here from our visible satellite. You can see the real speckly nature to the clouds. So none of these showers are overly organized. They won't be terribly heavy, but the fact that they're out there, the fact that those clouds are popping up, meaning we still have that shower threat continuing this afternoon. It's 55 right now. Sun and showers the remainder of the day. High temperatures inching up to about 62 or so this afternoon. And then we are done with the rain for days, maybe a week, maybe 10 days. And with that will come much warmer weather. In fact, Drew, I've got record warmth in my 7-day forecast. That comes up in just a few minutes.
All right, Chris, we'll check in with you then. Right now, we do want to get back to some local headlines this afternoon. Both the president and the first lady are expected to make stops here in the Pacific Northwest this week. So for starters, First Lady Jill Biden is scheduled to be right here in Portland this Thursday afternoon for a fundraising event, although the White House is not releasing any exact information on where that event will be held. And she's only expected to be here for a few hours before heading off to San Francisco for another fundraiser Thursday night. Then on Friday, the president will be in Seattle for a campaign fundraiser. Again, the exact time and location aren't being revealed to the public at this point. Only people who RSVP to that fundraising event near the Seattle area will get that information. The woman accused of kidnapping a 5-year-old boy last week in Southeast Portland was arraigned in court on Monday. According to court documents, the woman told police she actually had permission from the boy's mom to take him. But the boy's mother says that's not true. KGW's Catherine Cook brings us the details.
Leanne Osborne said very little as she stood before a judge Monday. It was the 31-year-old's first court appearance since police arrested her for second-degree kidnapping. She pleaded not guilty. On Friday morning, Cheyenne Stallsworth happened to spot Osborne with a missing 5-year-old boy. They were near Southeast 151st and Millmain. Cheyenne recognized them from a photo police had shared and called 911.
I feel like it was by the grace of God that I saw him, and I'm just thankful that they didn't take him anywhere.
As for where the two did go, court documents shed some light on the 13 hours the boy was missing. Police reports show he and his mom live at these apartments near Southeast 151st and Stark. Around 8 p.m., the boy's mother called 911. She told dispatch she'd fallen asleep and couldn't find her son. For her part, Osborne told police she'd taken the boy to a nearby store for drinks and snacks, claiming he had permission from his mom and had spoken with him and given him candy in the past. The boy's mother said she doesn't know Osborne and that no one had permission to take her son anywhere. The two were spotted at a nearby Chevron station and 7-Eleven and on a TriMet bus. Later that night, Osborne told police she and the boy got lost, so she built a fire for them at a nearby school where they stayed the night. In his report, a detective wrote Osborne told him that her phone had died, so she couldn't call 911. She also said people weren't helpful to her when she asked for help in finding the child's apartment. Catherine Cook, KGW News.
Again, as Catherine reported there, Osborne pleaded not guilty to charges of kidnapping and custodial interference, both in the second degree. The judge, meanwhile, ordered her to be held without bail until a detention hearing. Osborne is due back in court next week.